The arrival of the Beatles in the United States was a huge breakthrough for many people. It was commonly called the British Invasion, as it opened the doors for a great number of musicians to come to the United States and make a name for themselves. It also gave the young people that listened to the Beatles something to get excited about. Until they arrived in America, the Beatles were a far-off dream from a far-off land that most American teens would never get to. But when they crossed the border into the United States, that dream of seeing them live in real life became a very distinct possibility, hence why the band was met at the airport by hordes of hysterical screaming fans. The premiere of the Flintstones may not seem very important, but it represented the changing ways of society. Until then, most television shows were based in the present, and there certainly weren't very many cartoons. But the Flintstones were set in the Stone Age and was targeted towards children. It helped to promote the popularity of television and leisure time, which makes the Flintstones a symbol of the changes that were taking place during the 1960s. The Flintstones also represented some other changes that were happening in society. Mr. and Mrs. Flintstone were the first couple to sleep in the same bed on television, which was very controversial because the show was targeted towards children, and many people thought that it was inappropriate. The swearing in of JFK was a pivotal moment for many Americans. He was the youngest president to ever take office at the time, and in the eyes of many people, just the man for the job. President Kennedy represented the ideals of young people around the country that were looking for a way to make a difference. He helped to empower them and say, yes, we can change the world. Although many people had their concerns because JFK was the first Catholic president, he quickly proved to them that his religion had nothing to do with the way he governs a country, and he won them over with his intelligence and charm. Please help me, help me, help me. Until 1960, the United States did not have a birth control pill available for women. When it was legalized, there was a lot of controversy. Many people thought that it was an abortion pill and would kill the baby to keep a woman from being pregnant. Traditionalist people also didn't like the idea of women having more control over their choices and what they did with their body. Feminists, on the other hand, were very happy about the birth control pill and found it to be empowering. The words, "I have a dream," can easily be recognized as the words of Martin Luther King Jr. When Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his "I Have a Dream" speech, he inspired millions of African Americans into working even harder towards their goal of equal rights. Martin Luther King was an activist for the civil rights movement and taught thousands of people that they can make change peacefully and be civil while still making an impression. He was the most influential leader that African Americans had.
When Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, African Americans gained many rights that white citizens did. But that didn't necessarily mean fair treatment. Although African Americans were now allowed to sit where they wanted in restaurants and were not allowed to be discriminated against when applying for jobs, they were not immediately accepted into society. Although it was perfectly legal for African Americans to sit in the same section as white people, not everyone was quite so accepting. The Civil Rights Act was signed, but that didn't mean that progress was going to come immediately. When civil rights activists became aware that you couldn't vote if you were black, they began Freedom Summer. Freedom Summer was started in 1964 and was used to bring black voters to the polls. This helped to advance African American prominence in society and push them out of the shadow of hate. Television was becoming more and more popular, but television wasn't just used for leisure time. It could also be used to get across an important message, such as politics. The first televised presidential debate between JFK and Nixon is considered a huge milestone. It showed voters how their candidates performed under pressure. This could really sway the vote to televised events, and politics became very important and remained important to this day. When Malcolm X was assassinated, it was a huge blow to the civil rights movement in the United States. Much of the African American community was outraged and disheartened. Malcolm X was a huge symbol of the civil rights movement for many people and it was hard to lose someone that so many people looked up to. In 1965, when Malcolm X was assassinated, the civil rights movement was far from over, but the loss of such an influential leader made many African Americans want to give up. Malcolm X's assassination was a very important event in the 1960s. JFK was always in the public's eye and in the heart of the American citizen, but on November 22, 1963, while in Texas, he was shot. Later that day, he died. America was crushed. Many people looked up to their president, and when he died, America was discouraged. It was an ultimate low point of morale for many people, and millions mourned their loss.